Okay, now I've unmuted the mic. I didn't even know it was muted until it started flashing at me. I just love technology. It's so fun. Keep reaching for all of your dreams. As far as they see. Sometimes all you really need is to believe, believe, believe. If you believe you can achieve without the see. If you believe you can achieve without the see. If you believe you can achieve without the see. See that to see. Hey, everybody, welcome again. Sorry about that little technical issue with my microphone being off. But as I said, I've been a little under the weather, so you may hear that in my voice. You may have to understand, don't focus on that, because we're going to be talking about focus, which I think God has a sense of humor. Because I've had this illness, I've had to focus differently than I have all year so far. It's been phenomenal proving these theories so that I can help people. Sometimes I think God makes us live through what we're trying to feed other people just to see if you really believe it. And I do. So what we're going to talk about today is how to regain your focus in pandemic fatigue. Because statistics are showing us that attention spans have been dwindling for years as a society, because we're all social broadcasters, because we can get our information in sound bites on demand any time of day or night, we tend to not pay attention to something for long. And that's what focus is. It's the ability to direct your attention and efforts to a task until logical completion of that task. The sad thing is, it is so accepted to be procrastination, or to be a procrastinator, or to be someone who just doesn't finish what they start, or somebody who gets bored in the middle of a task, so you abandon it without completing it. And so much of our work is all about length of time on a task, not the task itself. We'll talk about that more in a later time. But what I want to assure you of is focus is a muscle. It can be built if you work it. It's something you have to pay attention to, how you pay attention or not. And if you're someone like me, get bored easily, have a quick mind, quick thinking mind, it will easily lead me off of a task if I let my mind do what it wants to do, which is wander all over the place, think of everything. So when I approach a task, I've had to learn I have a natural disposition to not pay attention to something unless I'm extremely interested in it. And that's one of my approaches, is I've learned how to really pay attention to a task so that my brain believes I'm extra interested in it, even when I may not be emotionally. And the reason why I've taught myself to do that is because I used to think I was a hyper tasker, a multitasker, which is a fallacy. That is simply not true. The brain is a single processor. It does not process more than one thing at the same time. It doesn't do that. It may move quickly through things as you're accomplishing or after a task or trying something. It may move quickly through that, but I can promise you the brain is a single processor. And you can accept that or not and still think you hypertask or multitask or whatever you try to convince yourself. But the brain works the way the brain works. So I can definitely tell you it's a single processor. It will focus in on a task only and if you commit your thoughts, your attention to that particular task. So now that I've explained how the brain focuses, let's talk about some ways you can develop that particular muscle, your attention muscle, so that you can regain your focus. Because a lot of people that I talk to, a lot of clients that I'm counseling, everybody has the same issue. We're all lacking deep concentration and focus on things, unless it's scintillating or it's high drama. We can focus in on the news when things go on, like what went on in the country a couple of weeks ago, or the election. But we lose focus on what's essential really quickly because we lack attention span. So let's talk about focus and how to regain it. I have some tips for you. But first of all, most average humans have an 8-second attention span. Did you know that? So most of you have already tuned out on what I say. You've already tuned out because I'm past your 8-second mark. And that number is starting to dwindle. Now, they're starting to tell us that focus is a muscle you have to build. You have to keep working at your focus with a combination of mindset and tools. The first thing is a mindset of, I will focus. I like to write things down, no more than 5 things that I'm going to focus on for the day. I have found that is most successful for me to commit my time, my effort, and my energy to that. That's my mindset focus. What is yours? What do you do when you really need to get something done? How do you set your mind? Hopefully you do it in a positive, reinforcing way and not a critical, self-judgment kind of way, because that makes tasks unpleasant. And as we learned in my challenge, when I taught how to defeat procrastination, the first thing you have to do is you have to defeat procrastination by finding something pleasant with the task you need to accomplish. So let's talk about how to set your mindset. The first thing you need to do is calm your brain. Take a minute or two, sit somewhere quiet, commit yourself to whatever the task is at hand. For me, I have to write. So I need to sit somewhere quietly before I write my intentions, like I want to finish 1,000 words today. Write that down. And don't get all weird and spooky spiritual about sitting somewhere quietly. Meditation is simply using your mind to repeatedly tell yourself something you need to think about. That could be scripture. It could be an affirmation. It can be whatever calms your brain down. And that's self-taught, especially for those of us that have short attention spans, as well as those that might struggle with anxiety. This is where calming your brain is an essential tool you need in your toolkit to regain your pandemic fatigue focus, to regain it. Breathe deeply while you're calming your mind. That's a love note to your brain when you breathe deeply. That's how I've controlled these coughing fits, is through good breathing. It hasn't been fun because it hurts to breathe deeply when you're congested, But I'm finding the more I do it, the better my breath gets. So I'm really strengthening that muscle. The second thing you want to do after you've calmed your brain is understand where your focus needs to be. And this is not where you want it, but absolutely where you wrote down what you need to focus on and then determine where it needs to be. What I mean by that is have a block of time you commit to that task. For me, writing. I like to write between the hours of 10 and 3 p.m. because I find I can focus better, write better, think better. Everything's just better when I write in those hours. And it's been shown by the American Productivity and Quality Center, which is a nonprofit research organization, that success comes down to embedding that focus into your flow of how you work. If you really want to grow and strengthen that focus muscle, determine what it is your focus, where it is your focus needs to be. And like the American Productivity and Quality Center says, success comes down to embedding that focus into the flow of how you work. So you've done those two things. You get to the point where you realize, I need to refocus. I need focus. I need to regain my focus. I can't keep walking around in a fog. Days passed and I haven't accomplished anything because I haven't really thought about anything. And that is a normal trauma response. The brain just kind of shuts off, shuts down, and goes on autopilot. We want to interrupt that by first calming the mind. And then secondly, determining where your focus needs to go. Then the third thing that you can try is unplugging for 30 minutes after a task. Once you accomplish a task, and this is the way I work, and my assistant knows this, I like space in between tasks. I don't like back to back to back to back trying to accomplish a task. That just doesn't work for me. My brain doesn't like it. I feel stressed. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it. So I try never to do it. So I think it's really important that you learn what you need to do to unplug for 30 minutes. I love to take a nap. That's my favorite unplug, is just find somewhere, curl up, take a quick power nap, get up, brush my teeth, splash some water on my face, and go back to work. That's a really good way to refocus your attention. Now, when I don't have that luxury of taking a nap, I do shut down my computer. Because I used to work in the oil and gas industry, we used to have our computers signal us to shut down every hour, hour and a half, so that we weren't having bad glare from our computers, and we practice good ergonomics in our work habits. And I've kept that because I learned I get more done when I unplug for 30 minutes. There's a meme that says everything works better if you just unplug it or reboot it. And that includes you. Grab some coffee or tea. Something warm is another good thing you can do to regain your focus, to help calm your mind, to help gain focus on the task at hand, what you need to accomplish. And then also, just to unplug, get you a nice cup of tea. I've got a nice smoothie my brother made me. It's delicious. I like my smoothies. I like healthy things that don't build mucus. So that's full of citrus and antioxidants and good stuff, just fresh fruits. So I think that's important to do, to drink something warm, drink something cold, drink something that you enjoy. There isn't alcohol, because you shouldn't be drinking alcohol while you work. Shouldn't. But to increase your physiological arousal, which makes you less apt to be distracted, that's why some coffee, tea, or a bolt of caffeine, just something to boost your system. I don't like caffeine, it destroys my stomach. So I don't even drink coffee much anymore, even though I love McDonald's coffee. I drink tea, and even that I don't do a whole lot of. But you'll find that if you take a nice warm drink, it could be warm lemon water, just something warm that helps to create a physiological arousal. And that helps you regain your focus or stay focused on your task. Turn on some music. That helps me work. And I have found I like to work best with classical or jazz. I sometimes, every now and again, I have to put on some Tupac or some Biggie, something with a hard driving beat. It depends on what my task is. But I have absolutely the best work times where I get into a flow and I'm focused when I put on a little music. It really helps. Gospel music is great for me too. I like anything that helps nourish my mind and my spirit. So try some music. Calm your brain. Unplug for 30 minutes. Focus on the task that's at hand. Play some music. And then learn the importance of taking short breaks. Now, don't confuse that with unplugging for 30 minutes, because a short break could be just a 5 seconds in between your next thought, or 5 seconds in between your next meeting, your next phone call, where you're just taking a nice, good, soothing, deep breath, and you regain your focus back to what you need to accomplish. So, those were 7 things I gave you to help you regain your focus. When you find yourself completely unable to focus and you're scattered all over the place, you might need to focus on focusing. You may need to rebuild that muscle because you may have lost it, or it may have atrophied, or it may have gotten weak, especially because we're all working different now. We're all working from home, or we're working hybrids, where we're in the office sometimes we're at home. Everything is disrupted. It's very hard to focus too when you've got so much going on. I think we all breathed a collective sigh last week, because it's like this foot on the gas pedal way we've been living with politics just seemed to calm down for a lot. Not everybody. Some people have really gone off the deep end. But for those of us that can take a collective sigh of relief, we can go, every day doesn't have to be a controversy. Every day doesn't have to be a fight. Everything isn't a fight. But to regain your focus, you are going to have to fight for it. If you're having problems focusing, I just gave you 7 tips. I've reassured you the brain is a single processor. The brain is not a multi-processor. It focuses on one thing at a time, on the subconscious and the conscious. Now, you may shift fast, which is why you think you're hypertasking or multitasking, which is what I used to say. It wasn't good enough for me just to be a multitasker. No, a hypertask. Yeah, I don't do that anymore because I know it's not true. All I'm doing is not doing anything well or anything with focus. So to regain that focus, calm your mind. Focus on the task at hand. Unplug for 30 minutes. Set your intentions. Focus on what you need to focus on. Write it down. I try to do no more than 5 things in a day that I really hyper focus on. Listen to some music. That's a great thing to do. Unplug for 30 minutes. That's where I like to take a good break, a good nap. Take breaks. Those are those small seconds in between. It's not like unplugging for 30 minutes. And then the most important thing is, remember, focus is a muscle that can be rebuilt. So if you're feeling like, I just can't focus right now, or it's hard to focus, try some of these things. Change your mindset from what I can't do. Focus on the fact that you can focus. Try these tools. See if they work for you. See which one works the best. And then work that one until you feel a little stronger, a little more intent on focusing. And then finally, the most important thing is, don't ever try to multitask. Give your brain a break. Understand it doesn't like that. That's how you get scatterbrained and frustrated. And really learn how to bring your focus in so you can accomplish the task that you need to accomplish. Now, that's it for today. That's what I wanted to share with you. Like I said, I've been under the weather, so I've really had to use these tools so I can focus and get things done in spite of not feeling good, not wanting to be awake. But these things work. And I think it's funny, God had me really exert these things just in time for this teaching. Sometimes you gotta eat your own dog food, I guess. So you can recover focus. You can get back focusing on the things you need to. Your brain is a single processor. Try one of these 7 tools that I gave you and see if it doesn't help you refocus. That's it for today. I'm signing off a little early, but I've really stressed my voice. I don't want to push it any further. So I hope you guys have a blessed week. And I'll be coming on a little bit later when I feel even better to tell you about next week's show. Have a blessed rest of your day. I'm Dr. Cheryl, your work doctor, and this is Achieve with Dr. C. See you next Monday, 10 a.m.